echando. Cuando me pongo yo ya. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué hago yo?
Olha, muito sobra onde queres.
Ahí, cortada. Ahí. Siempre lo llevo para pesar fuerte, ¿eh?
É rígido, puxa.
¿Es normal que rebose?
No sé.
¿Qué hago? ¿Ya está vos para pasar?
Oh, espera um pouco.
¿Más?
Espera um pouco.
Sale con
Muita água aqui, ó.
agua. Quiero ver el sonido.
Olha aí, longe. Deixa eu espera um pouco.
Vamos
No
atrás
máximo meia hora, depois escorrego.
y ya. Venga.
¿Y después habrá que rellenar?
¿Y faltará más cuando el agua se vaya? Porque yo quiero que quede al nivel perfecto.
Podemos deixar aqui um pouquinho aí ao menos.
Venga.
Se sobrar, que não está
Veamos.
aqui.
Pronto.
¿Ya?
Não vai.
ver, yo... Maru, ¿te puedes relajar? Por lo pronto, ahí falta.
Aquí.
Ahí falta. Aquí en el escalón también falta. Right here, we're gonna have the entry door. We would like to have a step, so any water that goes in that area, it goes down, it doesn't go inside. This will be the step, so when we pour the concrete, this section here won't get filled by the concrete, and once we remove it, we'll have a hole in the concrete with this shape.
A ver, era relleno debajo, pero yo no le he visto que haya dado. Vamos, de tipo que ve tanto tipo de cosas, tío.
Pero a ver, ¿tú puedes llevar? Hay que hacer así, mira.
Sí.
¿Vale?
¿Así?
Ahí. ¿Saltándose? Porque creo que ahí nos va a faltar cuando se vaya el agua.
Ya.
¿Estás de acuerdo, verdad?
Pongo una alarma.
Alright guys, the driver told us to wait a little bit because he put a little bit more water in the concrete just to make it easier for us to level it. Now we're following his advice and waiting a little bit before we pass the screeder. So we have waited like 10-20 minutes and now I'm gonna try to go and see how it feels.
Todavía están las pompas flotándose.
Mira aquí, pienso que me falta. Así que cógete el rastrillo y échame para acá. Echa ahí.
Que va a caer.
Si me salgo, tengo que darle ahí.
Vale. Mira.
Kamu kasih motor foto. No, que quedó bien ya no voy aquí. I'm just cleaning the screeder. I don't know why, but I think we need to go back maybe in like 20 minutes or so because it's still a little bit too wet to screed, I think, seeing the YouTube videos. I think this is a little bit too wet, so just to make sure we're gonna come back with the screeder and keep going at it. But it's looking quite good if you ask me. I mean, for now it looks good. Eugenia just went to the other side to extend the leftover because we ordered a little bit too much just in case, because we didn't want to go short. Whatever is left over, we're gonna use it here on the other side of the property for the van. It's a temporary thing. Later when we do the parking, we will just take this out. And this is gonna be so nice for us to park the van because when it gets really wet, then it gets stuck here in the mat. I don't think we're gonna have that issue anymore with this concrete here. That's a real good technique, Eugenia. Concrete master. Originally, the idea or the plan that we had right there on the wall was to slowly pour the concrete, fill maybe a third of it, and then Eugenia will start magging the edges, which is just making it flat, and then pass the screeder based on those flat edges that she made. But the concrete is too wet, and we had like a big chunk in the middle because the concrete driver had to go to another building site, and then when we screed, we just discard whatever is left. Maybe we wait for 10-15 minutes more, mark the edges, and go back with the screeder. And I think that will be pretty much in the same scenario than if he wouldn't have put so much water in the concrete. We had this concrete in the wheel cart, but I was setting a little bit, so I don't know if it's called wheel cart or not. If it's not, I'm gonna put the word here. And so we're gonna switch it to this bucket, and this is just left a little bit left over in case that we need to fill some holes, or I don't know, just in case. What are you doing now, Jenny?
I'm magging the edges to leave all the sides horizontal before Pepe pass with the screeder.
we have just finished passing, marking all the perimeter, and I think, I mean, it's looking so good that it feels bad to go inside and step again. But Mike Day Concrete is doing that, so what do you say, Eugenia? I think that's what he said, but I'm gonna go inside again with the screeder now that we have all the perimeter perfectly horizontal, and use both the form and the level that Eugenia just made all around the perimeter as a level for me to screed. And that way I make sure that it's horizontal. I don't want to have, little poodles later if it gets wet or things like that. I want everything to be at the same level. So I think it's worth a try, and if not, then we learn. Change of plans. I don't think we're gonna pass the screeder once more, because I mean it looks very horizontal. Doesn't feel like it needs to be level again. It just needs to be flattened, and for that we have the bull floater, which is this guy. I don't know, I don't think it's worth the risk to go inside, because as you can see, let me show you, it looks pretty good for two beginners. So I think it's well screed out. Eugenia is doing an amazing job at flattening all the edges, and I think it looks good. So we're gonna wait just for 5 more minutes, and then we're gonna go with the magnesium.
¿Qué es este o son los dos?
Son los dos. ¿Qué pasa?
Que uno se levanta y el otro no.
¿Cómo? We just got scared because the step looked like it went up, but it is a piece of wood that I put and I forgot. So that's the piece of wood that we're seeing. So what I was saying, we're gonna wait just a little bit more until Eugenia finishes with the edges, and then we're gonna go with the magnesium bull float. And I don't know, it looks good to me, it looks good to her. Okay. Alright guys, another change of plans. We're gonna go back inside. I know I said that we won't, but it feels like the concrete is a little bit over the level now. So we're gonna go back, because I mean we feel a little bit more than what we needed, thinking like we will push it out later. I'm gonna go back inside. Eugenia is gonna stay on the outside, and we're gonna screed based on the level of the form and scrap out all the excess. And but it's looking quite good. Wish me luck, guys.
Ya.
Vale. Paramos arriba y para arriba. Vale, y ahora yo me voy para atrás.
Vale.
Voy rellenando esto.
¿Qué tal?
Estoy subido. Haciendo ahí.
Tú me avisas.
Yo subo ahí arriba. ¿Para arriba?
¿No? Sí.
Arriba. ¿No gonna fly?
Ahí falta. Puta madre.
Guys, this is looking really good. This is looking quite good. We already bull floated the whole thing. Eugenia went with around the edges to remove all the bull float lines. We still have some lines. I don't know if it's catching in camera or not, but this is normal. Then when we go inside, we will be able to remove them by hand. And the form held pretty well. That's something that I was a little bit afraid of yesterday. and that's why I added all the reinforcements. But yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, we didn't have any issues, and also the driver said that we did a good job with the form. That was a very professional job, and he was surprised that it was our first time doing this. And now we cleaned all the tools already. We will switch the magnesium bull float for the steel one, which is waiting here. Yeah, all the tools that we're not using we're putting there so we can start cleaning the space. And this is how it's looking at the moment. That ladder is for me to go up and turn the camera on and off. And then here on this other side we didn't do much. We just poured the concrete, level it out a little bit and let it dry. It's almost dried already, I think, because it's thinner layer. You know, we come with the van over here backing up, and then every time that we go up there was like a downhill full of mud, and we were having issues taking the van out. And since now we don't have the Land Rover, we cannot risk to stay stuck in there because there is no other car that can pull us out. Eugenia is here. Aspen is here waiting patiently. Lolita is there. She hasn't touched the concrete just yet. Lolita, good job. And now Eugenia is here preparing some snacks. This is lunchtime. It's almost like 2 p.m. And then we have rice with avocado.
Eggs on top of here.
Eggs with avocado and fried egg. And then we have toast with avocado and a toast with avocado and egg for her. I had to tell you that when I was moving the concrete for a moment, I thought we might not be able to do this. But here we are after a few hours and the concrete slab is right there. Guys, you can do anything you want to do. You just need to work hard, prepare yourself and do it. But I'm not gonna get too motivational speaker just yet until until I see how I came out. Alright, it's time to use the steel trowel, and we know because there is no water pretty much in the surface, there is actually no water, and then when you press your fingers it's like 3 millimeters or like even less. It's time to pass the trowel and make it even more smooth. Eugenia is doing the same, it's the same tool but by hand, and I'm gonna go with the extension pole and go in the center. I don't know, let's see. Ya, pero...
Hazlo hasta aquí, hasta esta línea.
Vale. ¿Tú me dices cuando llego, vale?
Hasta la sombra.
¿Ahí?
Sí.
Como dé la vuelta aquí le daría, ¿eh? Bueno, no hace la mano. Bueno, vamos a hacerlo como en el orden en el que se está secando. Tampoco se lo podemos quemar.
Vale.
Está quedando muy bien de la forma, ¿eh?
hacer hasta el final porque esto está tapado y eso no. Y yo eso lo puedo arreglar.
Voy al fondo, ¿no?
Sí. Vale.
Súper blando ese. It's been 30 minutes since the first pass. Eugenia has been working really hard fixing the edges and floating all the perimeter. And we're having issues because some parts of the slab have direct sun and some others are in shade. Right now it's just a little portion in sun, but before, like 30 minutes ago, it was way bigger. The parts that were in direct sunlight dried faster and they're working nicely, and the other ones we need to wait still a little bit in order to pass the steel trowel. Basically we have all this section done, but this first portion, as you can see, it is not done because of that, because it's still wet. So now I'm gonna go ahead and give a second pass.
Perfecto. No pasa nada, no pasa nada, porque eso va debajo.
Claro, pero la puede quedar con el escalón.
Que no va a quedar.
Sí, sí. Alright, I just finished the second pass with the big steel trowel and it's looking pretty good. Eugenia is finishing up a little bit more this edge because every time that I pass I create a line there, and so she comes back and fix it, and this is looking very smooth. I don't know if you can see. We can still see the lines from every pass, and it's a pity that I cannot go in the other direction perpendicular to it. That would be ideal, but I don't have a space. I mean, I have the solar panels like 1 foot away from the form trench, that tree, and the fence, so I cannot do it. I mean, I tried and I just was making more mess than what I was fixing. So I think we're gonna just go in that direction many times. We're gonna wait another 30 minutes and give it a third pass. It will be the second for this shaded area. And once we see that the concrete is starting to harden a little bit more, we can go inside. We will use the OSB sliders that I built yesterday. Perfect. So yeah, you get the idea, right? And start finishing up all from the inside, which will remove the lines that we're seeing now and pass as many times as we need to in order to make it smooth. We want it really smooth. In the next slab that we're gonna pour, definitely we're gonna be renting or buying a power trowel and polish the concrete super nicely. But for this one, we didn't know if we were going to be able to get to this point that well. We didn't want to spend money in renting a power trowel if it wouldn't have make any difference, but it would have been 100% smooth because we got this point just perfect. Next time we're gonna rent one or buy one because we have many slabs to build for the other side of the property. So I think it's a good investment. Very excited about this, guys. This is like a dream come true. Even Eugenia was saying it's the first actual floor that we have. You know, like the cabin is in a raised platform and we have some decks and things like that, but this is like a solid piece of concrete that we can use, you know, and it's perfectly horizontal, so it's very exciting for us. Tornillo, la broca, como un pollo sin cabeza. Ahí estará en un vídeo.
Sí, yo hubiera pensado, pero igual el agua se viene hasta acá.
Okay, so the time has arrived, and I need to get inside the slab. This right section is dry already, and I might miss the opportunity to finish it. So I'm gonna give it this homemade slider a try. Let's see how it works. All right, guys, wish me luck. Try to get to the middle and then come back. looking good. Okay, I have a, what's this? What do you call this?
Leche merengada?
Leche merengada. I don't know how to I don't know how to say it in English, but it's pretty good as well. So you need to Google it up. Homemade cookie. And Eugenia is still working that side, and it's looking, honestly, it's looking so good that I don't even know if I'm gonna get inside to try to finish it up. We're debating whether we should or not, because it's looking, you're gonna see later. Our trusty LED light is back. I thought I wouldn't be using this ever again in my life, because I really grew tired of this when building the cabin, but I think we're gonna need it today.